Oh, yeah. Recording? No.
Get caught on.
Start bombing Russia in 15. Remember that. Ronald Reagan. I don't know if the Mac said we start bombing Russia in 15. Well, I mean, obviously, but he,
Well, Jason.
President.
yes.
But if the mic was hot, give that.
Because, that's what he had. They don't know.
Well, that was Reagan back then, and he would probably to his benefit, open mic, everybody.
You like to let them know, and guess what? And I'm back in my word. So, call to order, prayer, pledge of allegiance, and then when we get to correspondence recognition, there are none. And then when we get to disposition of minutes, we'll have amended.
Dr. Pratt, does it record automatically? It does, right?
I think you have to turn it on. Can you check it on your phone?
It's working on the phone, but I just didn't know if it was recording the session or just...
You can see it on your phone running.
Yeah, I can.
And it's recording.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So there's number one, there's bigger.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Would you make maybe Marisa
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, I'd like to call this September 2024 session of the Harrison School District Board of Education into session. I'd like to start with a prayer. Father, thank you so much for bringing us again together tonight and for the beautiful day that you've given us. Beautiful, beautiful fall day. In addition, we ask for your wisdom and guidance as we make the decisions on behalf of our district and our community. And as always, we ask for you to keep our students and staff safe, keep them happy and contented, continue to learn. But at this time, we'd like to ask you for a special grace on behalf of the family of Brooklyn Pendarvis, former Goblin, always be a Goblin, and her family who are going through such tragic times. All of our family here love her, and we wish that family the very best. We ask your grace in for these things in your name. Amen. Pledge of allegiance.
Yes, Mr. Josh Bradford, Director of Bands, is going to lead us tonight.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Dr. Pratt, have we got any correspondence and recognition tonight?
We do not for this month.
Okay. At this time, if you've seen the agenda, we'll have an amended agenda, and I will ask for a motion to amend the agenda as currently presented.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the agenda, amended agenda that's sitting in front of us.
Okay.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Burnside, a second by Ms. Keelan. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on then to number 5, disposition of routine minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Burnside. I have a second by Ms. Both. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Minutes are approved. We'll move on to disposition of routine minutes, and I would ask for a motion for those as well.
So moved.
Okay, I've got a motion by Ms. Keelan. I have a second by Ms. McLaughlin. Any discussion there?
Annually, each month we discuss enrollment. We are holding steady at 2,745.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Minutes, or disposition, or routine reports are approved. We'll move on to new business 7A, consider out-of-state band choir trip to Orlando.
Yes, tonight we have Molly McGurk and Josh Bradford. Miss McGurk is our director of choirs for high school, and Josh Bradford is the director of bands. And together, the band and the choir requesting permission to travel to Orlando, Florida on May 29th through June 4th, 2025. While they're in Orlando, they'll be traveling to Disney Studios and hopefully producing I won't say a record, that sounds old nowadays, doesn't it? It would be a soundtrack. How's that?
Yes.
Musical performance will be recorded. And then that will take a little bit. And then also in the spare time, then they'll be able to travel through Disney World and Universal Studios and have a good time while our students exhibit their outstanding talents. The travel costs are $1,359 per person, includes lodging, entry into both theme parks, 8 meals, and the travel expenses of 2 tour buses to Florida and back. Ms. McGurk and Mr. Bradford, anything you want to add to that the board might want to know?
I think we've covered it all, and we look forward to taking our students out into different states and take them out of just Harrison. A lot of them don't have the opportunity to do that, so we both find that an important part of our job.
Absolutely. And today I was talking to Mr. Magnus. We were going over the board packet. I was telling him that every year, band, choir, ag, some of these programs, we have students that's never seen the Mississippi River when we travel. It happens. And this is a great example of how students can go beyond the borders of Arkansas and exhibit their talents and represent us very well. So with that being said, administration recommends approving the out-of-state trip for the Harrison Band and Harrison Choir students, directors, and chaperones to Orlando, Florida on the dates of May 29 and June 4th, 2025.
I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
And Ms. McLaughlin with a motion, is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Burris. Any discussion? As Dr. Pratt and I were talking, it's a great tool for our programs, all of them, just not choir and band, that we offer students something they might not get somewhere else, and that's one of the big things about these trips. I've made comments before about the Spanish club trip or the band trip when I was in high school, what it meant to some of those students, and they still talk about it to this day. So, anything else? Okay. What type of fundraiser are you doing, you know? Just
We just finished we did a digital discount card, and we sold $25,000 on that. So depending on if it was a card or a donation, it changes the percentage. So we're looking at between 60 and 80% profit on that.
okay. And how much do you think it's going to cost total?
For the trip for total?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
How many students will go?
We're expecting around this quote is about 107. Is what it's quoted for.
And Ms. McGurk, remember, Ms. McGurk and the choir students, they do Feast of Carols, they do their own fundraising also, along with bands fundraising. So between those two, they're going to be working together to collect enough funds for students to go. And some students will contribute on their own.
How many students do we share between those two?
We were just talking about that. We think it's about 80. We had to we share some technology services, so we've kind of compared them, but a lot of our students overlap.
Awesome. Anything else? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And I'm not going to ask for opposed, because if you do, you're not going with us. So. All those okay, motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to 7B, Here Child Nutrition Negative Balance Update.
Yes, Mr. Dove is with us tonight. If you remember last month, the last couple of months, we've been talking about child nutrition and some of our goals. Last month, Mr. Dove presented a set of strategic plans that he'd been working on to create changes in the food service and in collection of our debt. I just want to go over a few bullet points tonight, and just really proud of the work that's being done. Number one, Our negative carryover balance of regular lunch students, not free, not reduced, but regular students, has been decreased by $16,000 since our last conversation. We also have increased our free and reduced lunch application amount. So we believe, now we're guesstimating, and please don't hold us to it, but we typically are around 53, 54% free and reduced rate as a school district. We believe we're going to be closer to 58% because we're doing a better job of collecting those forms. There's a lot of benefits to that. There's other parts of our school district programs that rely upon how our free and reduced lunch rate follows. So I'm really proud of that. So we've got more people applying, and not everybody's approved, but at least they're applying, and the more that apply, the better chance they have. Skyline Heights, Forest Heights, and Food Advisory Committee's already met with Mr. Dove at the elementary level. Middle school is Thursday the 19th, and high school's coming up soon. They're kind of getting the date all locked in.
The 24th.
24th, so we got that done. So the advisory committees are working with Mr. Dove, just giving feedback about the lunches that we offer, what would they like to see. One of the things that I laughed, Jonathan came and gave me an update. There's a word about strawberry milk. There's a big push for strawberry milk. Everybody wants strawberry milk. And that was discontinued during COVID from the dairy folks that provide our milk products. So we're checking on that. And then the other big strategic plan piece was the automated communication tool. And we're happy to say that on Thursday at 2 o'clock, our automated communication to parents to let them know what their lunch balance is for students, it will begin at 2 o'clock on Thursday. So I feel like food service has done a really good job. The kitchen managers, Mr. Dove, and administration at district offices worked with him also. We've done a really good job of trying to address some of these things, and I think we're heading the right way. Lastly, in your board update, I also want to commend our kitchen managers at middle school, high school. We're adding new items, trying a lot of new things. Some are well received, some not so much. And the ones that are not, we discontinue and we're going to try something else. So really proud of that too. So we're here to, we'll answer any questions you may have, but there's not I don't need a motion or anything like that because it's just for information. But we just wanted to bring that back to you and just kind of update the board our progress.
So ballpark, what's the reduction? Because I know we had a significant reduction last time and then this time.
Yeah, right. That's a great question. We were right at 51,000 of regular student debt last time, and we're down in that mid to low right at this point. I believe I've communicated some of our debt. I sent that to you in an email, and you can see it's been reduced, but we have families that are really struggling, and they're trying to pay. And we've asked them to come up with a payment plan to try to knock some of that down. And some of them are doing a really good job, and some of them are really having a tough time to find some resources to do that. Ms. Keelan, did you have a question?
I just wondered if you knew with all the additional free and reduced applications, what the high school percentage would be?
The high school currently is at 48.99%. Middle school 57%. Skyline is 63.95%. Forest is 67%, and kindergarten is 66%. And so right now, today with the numbers, district-wide, we're 57.77. So that's the highest since I've been here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I came in 2017, and that's the highest it's been since I've been here. So, anything else from the board?
Let me ask a question, maybe some clarifying question on that. You said the high school is 48.99, I don't know, that's okay. It's 48.99% of the students qualify for reduced or free lunch.
Correct.
But how many, what is the percent of children at that level, they don't all eat lunch? So can we guesstimate that, that may be a majority of kids, probably if you qualified, you probably ate. You probably are eating lunch. But but a lot of kids don't eat lunch, they're not on campus, they leave.
Right.
So what is that, that's probably as realistic as number as you're gonna get, right? On something like that, or?
Yeah.
Is our goal?
Number-wise, lunch-wise, we feed about 400 students, 400 to 425 at lunch. So, and that's about half of the population of the high school.
Okay, so that's roughly 50%.
Yep.
Okay, that helps me understand.
And-
I would guess that that's a decent scientific math. I'm not sure, where's our math teachers in here, they may say that is not well, but that's how I work, so.
Yeah. But if we can continue that trend and get over that 50% mark at the high school, I mean, that not only opens up, other funds, but outside funds with community reenact funds that in the high school they're not eligible for. And we're close.
Yes.
I think
Good job.
obviously, Jonathan, you and the team need to be commended, Dr. Pratt, on what you have done so far. I think just drawing attention to it and your efforts are making a difference. And the fact that all of these things, I assume we're going to continue to see improvement, and it will only get better. And I know you don't have a goal as far as each one of these metrics, like the free and reduced, but I'm fairly confident it's going to get even better.
And ultimately, we want our children and our scholars to have an enjoyable experience during the course of their day. And lunch, plays a big part of that. If they're enjoying it, that's customer satisfaction.
That's right.
So we appreciate it.
Anything else?
No, sir. Just information only.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dove. Thank you, Dr. Pratt. We'll move on to 7C, consider budgets.
Yes, annually, Ms. Lovelace and I, we try to get together, and mostly Shannon, and she comes before the board and talks about budget for the school year. And tonight, we're lucky to have Director of Finance Shannon Lovelace with us, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about teacher salary, operating, and debt service funds. So Shannon, I'm going to let you take that away.
Thank you. I want to open it up to say that I'm probably going to sound like a broken record from last year. I'm going to repeat a lot of the same things that we covered. But our beginning balance for this school year is at 2.5 million, and I'm projecting us to end at 1.6. So we've got about 31 million in revenue coming in, and there's not a lot significant to note there. Our assessments are going up $500,000, but our foundation funding is going down $346,000. So that's due to the third quarter ADN of our kid count, 44. There's not a lot of new grants coming in or any other special funding. Our expenses are currently outpacing what we're projecting our revenues to be. So that's what's bringing us down to 1.6. That is a 5% carryover or a 5% margin. Typically, the state allows the school to carry over 20%. I will say that historically, before we had ESSER funding and the refinancing of our bonded debt, we were carrying a 1.7 balance. So this 1.6 isn't anything concerned over. Anything, I want to talk about the expenses too, and focus on that a little bit. I've got 5 key pieces of the expenses that I want to talk about. We are continuing to have what I said last year were unfunded raises from the LEARNS Act, where they gave us so much money, 1.2 million, to get our staff from 36,000 Bachelor Zero up to 50. A lot of schools in the state chose to do 50,000 or 52,000, and we kept our salary schedules staggered with the education bumps and the years of service bumps that we've historically had. So part of that factors into that unfunded raise. The other piece is that LEARNS did not fund our categorical funding staff, which would be like our alt ed, PD, English language learner, our preschool. It didn't fund classified staff, and it didn't fund federal positions. So all of those are having to be absorbed with meeting that salary schedule from that perspective. Another thing is we've added some SROs, and we did have a couple of safety grants last year. One of those is gone, and the other one is running out this year. So the federal safety grant, it paid for some of our school-based mental health and some of our SROs. This year it can only pay for one of those, not both. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is our property insurance increase. We talked about that last year too. We used to be $136,000. It went up an extra $149 last year and an additional $81 this year. So that's one of our other 5. And then our SPED caseload. I talked to Amber about it. We're staying pretty steady with what our caseload was last year, but we do continue to increase in our SPED kiddos. our maintenance of effort went up $700,000 in our operating fund on sped expenses last year. So that's a piece of it. And then the fifth one, the one that everybody talks about in the state, is our ESSER funding cliff. Since all of those special fundings are gone, we're absorbing that over into our operating. So that's school-based mental health. We brought in 14 FTEs, about $800,000 of salary last year. That's 3% of our staff. And then we also are doing non-salary things like absorbing technology, virtual learning, solution tree, and then things like NAC. We started paying for juniors last year, and then the NAC credit cost is going from $50 a tuition hour up to $66 a tuition hour this year. So that's part of those increased expenses. But overall, I'm very proud of all the great things that we get to do for the district, and those expenses are worth it. We're investing in recruitment and retention with a competitive salary schedule for our staff, and we are continuing to be cautious, but we are comfortable. I think we're in good shape with our staffing, our facilities, even our fleet. You can see that I've kind of made a note out to the side on the transportation area of the expense budget, where we've got a couple of vehicles that we're paying for, and then we've got budgeted for 2 of our buses too. So, you guys have any questions for me?
One of the items when Dr. Pratt and I were discussing it, and I want to make this point clear, the district is still financially sound, but given the amount of money that was coming in from different sources, just not during COVID, but with the LEARNS Act, we found value, but it allowed the district to make decisions in a more flexible way. There's a little bit less flexibility. For example, we discussed transportation and how many buses, and just to be conservative, rather than buy 3 or 4 buses, we're buying 2 buses. Can you speak to any of that at all?
Yeah, it's back, Shannon used the great word cliff, but those revenue streams are ending, and now we have to absorb those, and our costs are up, inflation costs are up, food costs are up, repair costs are up, parts are up. Every time we repair an air conditioner, it's more expensive than it has been in the past. And all those absorbences are coming and hitting us at the same time. Again, I don't want to make it sound that we're in a dire position. We are not. We are very strong and healthy. We're just not as healthy as we have been with all those flush funds. So we're in good shape. We've got measures that we can take. We've talked about it, and I think we're going to be in good shape at the end of the year. I'm confident of that. It's just not the same as what it has been.
It's just, like I say, have to be a little bit more, not even prudent, but considerate of what we're going to buy. So, whether or not we add a position, those things make sense. So. Anyway, any other comments? At this time, I'd entertain a motion for approval of the teacher salary, operating, and debt service budget.
So moved.
Have a motion by Mr. Burnside. Is there a second? Have a second by Ms. Bowe. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Budget is approved. We'll move on to CII, Food Service Fund.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay. So this one, we had a little bit of carryover last year, $43,000. And then whenever the revenue and expenses came out, we did have to zero out the fund. We call it a bailout. $45,000 where we transferred money from our operating over to food service to cover the negative balance. Whenever I talk about a negative balance in the food service fund from a budgeting perspective, it's not the same as what our debt is from students and staff. It's just a different number. It's an operating the business side of the cafeterias and the child nutrition program. So we started this new school year with a $0 budget. And then we don't have the equipment grant that we had gotten last year. So if you look at the other receipts revenue line, and it's drastically down compared to the prior year. That equipment grant was $118,000. And then we had what we call the Supply Chain Assistance Fund. It was fund number 4 for us. It was $77,000. That one helped pay for basically juice and milk for the school, for the students. So those monies are down, and because of that, we're projecting that we're gonna get 1.9 million in revenue. We will have to transfer some money out of operating, 140,000 is what I'm thinking. And then expenses, we're trying to stay fairly flat on it. Of course, that equipment grant is noted down there as well, but we won't have that in there because it was just an in and an out. But we've got food coming in at just under $1 million, and we're projecting a 1.9 cost of running that business. So end with a 0.
And I would assume, since this is a smaller budget and less volatility, you're going to be closer right on the money with your estimate.
Yeah, I feel like it's a real projection on this one. There's not revenue padding or anything.
Right. So, what we want to prevent, obviously, is an increase in lunchroom fees and costs. So,
I'll start. Every so often, is it 3 years? We have to reevaluate lunchroom fee costs.
We evaluate them every year, and then we can adjust it if the rubric says to do so.
Yeah, there's a rubric, and Shannon and I were talking about that, and we're not going to make any adjustments this year, but I think there is going, with the cost of these materials and food, we'll talk to the board about that, but I will not be surprised if Mr. Dove and Ms. Lovelace and I come to you and say we're going to have to make some adjustments to lunch prices.
and I will say, when I mentioned to our representatives at the state level, or anybody that's involved in state government, I try and remind them that, to be honest, feeding the children should be a state cost, in my estimation. And, if it's as important as we think it is, we probably ought to have some subsidy, or that they take that over and pay those expenses. I would tell you, if you ever have that opportunity to promote that, please do so. And transportation is another one I don't understand for a district like Harrison. In any rural district, that is a major cost. You can drive 15 minutes to school versus 45 minutes. Big difference. So, any other questions? If not, could I get a motion for approval of the food service budget?
So moved.
Have a motion by Ms. Keelan. Is there a second? Have a second by Mr. Burris. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Budget for food service is approved. We'll move on to athletic fund budget.
This one, we had a carryover of $12,000 to start the year with, and whenever we decide to look at the revenues and the expenses on it, we're projecting that we're going to end with a balance of $24,000. This is amongst all of our different sports, including the fundraising funds that we can activity account. I don't have anything special to note on any of those.
And I would assume, unlike food service, this is going to be all over the place because you have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, like if they get to go to state or something like that,
Right.
then.
The other thing I would like to bring up too, that Shannon and I talked about, this year we wanted to make a move. We've heard requests that high school students or students get into ball games free. We've heard that request multiple years. We've kind of resisted on that. We're just trying to be cautious. This year, we worked with Mr. Parker, and as long as you got your ID badge, you get into the ball game free. So we'll be watching to see what impact that'll be on the athletic revenue also. That's another factor involved. But I think we're going to be good, and Shannon's predictions are very accurate, and I think we'll be just fine. Her and Chris did a good job talking about the budget, so I think we're in good shape.
Would anybody be willing to make a motion for approval of the athletic budget? Ms. McLaughlin made the motion. Do I have a second? I have a second by Ms. Both. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same. Athletic budget is approved. We'll move on to 7D, consider purchase service agreement.
Yes, each year we have related services that are required under the IDEA, Individuals with Disabilities Act, to support eligible students and their goals and objectives. The district actively seeks reimbursement of therapy services through Medicaid. Direct services to the child can be billed, and we try to make sure that we are very efficient in that billing process. Tonight, Ms. Likes is with us, and she's able to answer any questions you may have, but our recommendation is to amend the attached purchase services agreement for speech therapy for the 24-25 school year.
So we currently contract with this provider. She has opened up her own business in town, and she's also opened up one in Fayetteville, which is keeping her from being able to provide 5 days a week herself. But we will be still contracting with her company. We'll just be utilizing teletherapy and other speech therapists through her company. So she'll be with us 1 day a week, and then her company will provide other therapists to provide the rest of the therapy services.
And I'm going to add to Amber, she didn't mention this, but our speech therapy load is maxed out.
Yes.
We are at capacity on those services in our identified students.
Okay, you said that she would be here 1 day a week, or is there anyone else at her company that will be here any day of the week?
Yes, so we will have teletherapy going, and then she has another provider that will be here as well 2 to 3 days a week.
And that's really the reason for the amendment?
Yes.
Any other questions? I would entertain a motion for approval of the purchase service agreement as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Mr. Bernstein, a second by Ms. Keelan. Anything else? How many of these types of agreements do we have, just roughly?
We have 6 speech therapists, 2 occupational therapists, and 1 physical therapist.
And we're maxed out on probably all of them, right?
Correct. They can have a caseload of 45 students apiece.
And I know recently there's been some closures of child service in our community. And so I know it's been harder and harder for the children to get services outside of the schools,
Correct.
summertime, things like that. So for some children, this may be the only services that they'll get in a
Yes.
365-day calendar year.
Yes, we've actually had parents reaching out since some of the recent closures, wanting to pick up services within the school because they can no longer access services outside. So we're going to see an increase even more with our students.
Again, even with those services, a lot of times kids would have to be come and picked up at the school, discharged out of school, and miss classes, things of that nature. This allows them to get most of their education pretty much intact and these services provided.
Correct. We do not pull out a core instruction to provide therapy. So they get their education and then their therapies within the school day.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Remind us again of our sped load versus, like, we're at 18%, 17%.
Yeah, over 17% population for special
So
education.
we're carrying a heavy load compared to other districts. And this is a problem throughout the state of Arkansas. If you read any of the publications, you will hear people screaming and yelling about the sped money funds and how much we spend. How many buses do we have, sped buses do we have? Do you know?
5 current routes that are running, and they're pretty full. We're just looking at
Yeah.
adding another.
Right. I know there was one school district in Northwest Arkansas, I forget who it was, that was going to put on 4 different runs, and they just don't have enough people to fill it.
To add to that, just so you know, Mr. Corkins is here. Mr. White is sick, by the way, so I apologize for him not being here. But a bus that Amber is requesting, we priced $115,000 for a specialized bus. So in 2017, when I came, we were buying buses for $92,000, a 77 passenger. So that's the kind of increase that we're talking about budget-wise. A short bus is costing what a full-size bus cost 7 years ago, 8 years ago. So,
Okay, anything else? With a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye. Any opposed, the same? Motion carries. We'll move on to 7E, consider equity compliance report.
yes, typically Mrs. Gilly provides this report. She's unable to be with us tonight. And so Dr. Pratt's going to try to do it. In your board materials, you will see the different acts, Title 6, Title 9, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act, Age Discrimination Act of 1975, Boy Scouts of America Equal Access Act of 2001, Section 9524 of Elementary, or DESE Act of 1965. These are all different regulations that we have to provide, and we're providing assurances to DESE tonight. So annually we do this report, and we're providing that report to you. Administration recommends the approval of the 24-25 Equity Compliance Report. Signatures of the superintendent, board president, and board secretary will be needed, and then we'll submit it to DESE.
This time I entertain a motion for approval. Got a motion by Mr. McLaughlin. I have a second by Mr. Burris. Any other discussion? Again, this is a housekeeping matter, and you don't get to go to prison for it. I think we're good, so we don't comply. All those in say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same? Motion carries. We'll move on to 7F here, the update on the partnership grant with the University of Arkansas.
Yes, again, Susan and Amber have been working hard on this tonight. Amber's with us. Amber Likes is with us, the Director of Special Education, and she's going to be talking about our U of A partnership grant. And Amber, what updates can you give the board?
So our district was selected to lead up our community on this pilot project. It's a partnership with the University of Arkansas, and it's funded by DHS. And it's to provide supports for families within the community whose students might be in danger of losing placement within their home, in danger of going into foster care or into a residential facility, or families who are just in transition. Students are required to be receiving services under Medicaid in order to participate. The grant is funding $700,000 to the community for resources, awareness, training, professional development, and support for those students. And another part of that is it provides 2 people to work within the community. One representative for birth through 6th grade, the other representative is for 7th through 12th grade. We have already hired these people. They have started working, and we've already been enrolling families to start getting services with this program. So we're excited to have this fund, this resource for our students and our families within our community.
So you would say that these 2 individuals we've hired are more than just simple advocates?
Correct.
What type of activity do you foresee them taking on behalf?
So they're going to be doing a lot of home visits, going into the home, trying to find out what supports they might need. Do they need help with rent? Do they need mental health services? Do they need evaluations? Do they need bed bug spray or food or whatever that might be? They go in and evaluate that situation and start setting up those resources to help the family. We already have a training scheduled next week for the community, for families, teachers, anyone who wants to come to access it's on awareness of autism. They've got one coming up that they're scheduling that will be in the community for trauma. So it's just a lot more supports and for not just the students, not just the school, but for the families in the community.
I think one of the terms that Amber and Susan and I and Dr. Lyons heard in one of the initial meetings is more wraparound type services for families that are really struggling.
And they're looking at hopefully having a caseload of 10 per worker, so that would cover 20 families possibly within the district.
Said it was a pilot program. Any other communities that have been selected?
There's 5 other communities. We are the one within this area that's been selected.
Any questions or comments? And this is for information only?
Yes.
We've already hired the individuals, and it's kind of give you an update.
Brandy Urosity and Ms. Robichaud is our two employees that the board has hired.
Next thing, we'll move on to item 7G, a review plans for the ASBA regional meeting.
Yes, on October 29th, Region 2 ASBA meeting will be held at Valley Springs at their school district. And the check-in begins at 5:30 with the dinner proceeding at 6 p.m. followed by a business meeting and usually ends around 8:30. You get 3 hours of service credit. Just let Linda and I know if you would like to attend. We can ride together in a Suburban, or you can drive there on your own, whatever works best for you. But typically, we have representation at the meeting, and there's some good information. Usually, Tony Prothro or someone from ASBA is there, and it's a good night.
Any questions? Hope to see everybody there. I'll be there, hopefully. Move on to, that's for information only, so we'll move on to 7H, consider delegates for the ASBA annual conference.
Now, this is the one that really gets exciting because you get to go to Little Rock with Dr. Price at the ASBA conference. So anybody that would like to do that, it'll be held on December the 11th through the 13th, 2024.
Now, don't rush to sign up.
Yeah, easy now, settle down. And it's at the Marriott Hotel and Steakhouse would be nice, State House Convention Center in Little Rock. And it's an annual gathering of all the school board members in the state, and it's got some awards, and it has a lot of breaks, some really good keynote speakers. And any board member who wishes to attend, the district will definitely support you and get you registered and signed up and get you a nice hotel room. So administration recommends that the school board elect one of its attending members to be the representative in the delegate assembly during the ASBA annual conference in December.
Okay, anybody want to jump in and volunteer? Does anybody want to nominate somebody? You're looking at me like you're going to nominate me.
Just thinking about it. I would like to nominate
Okay.
Mitch Magnus.
I kind of figured I could see it in your face. Okay, so we have a motion. Is there a second for, okay, Ms. Keelan's now just nodding her head.
I said second. after
Oh, okay.
you.
I'm sorry. Does anybody want to rescind their motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anybody? Okay. Looks like I'm stuck with him for 3 days.
Hey, it's a good time. They've got the Christmas decorations out, the whole bit. It's really nice.
We'd all go.
Huh?
We'd be 100% participating.
Participatory.
Participatory.
So we're like mid-February.
Yeah, let's shoot for
Goes any
mid-February.
warmer.
I'm hoping to be going to the national championship, so that's that same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'd be
I'll
wanting
be
to go
there
there
too.
too. Okay. We'll move on to 7I, consider petition for transfer of students.
Yes, in your board materials, you will see students petitioning for transfer. Administration recommends the approval of outgoing transfers and endorsed incoming transfers.
Okay, anybody willing to drop a motion on this one?
I make a motion to
Okay.
approve the transfer.
Got a motion by Ms. Keelan. Is there any second?
I'll second.
We got a second by Ms. Bose. Any discussion? You want to make a note of the two at the bottom?
Yes, there are two individuals, thank you, Mr. Magnus, there's two individuals on there that we did decline as an endorsed transfer into the district. Both of those individuals would require our school district to hire additional staff, and at this time, we just didn't feel like that was the right thing to do. So we've communicated with those families that they can look to enroll at next year.
Anything else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same? Transfers are approved. At this time, we are going to, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Move on to 7J. I apologize. The amended portion of the agenda. Consider approval for the CACFP preschool program.
Yes, Mr. Dove's here tonight. The CACFP program is a child adult care food program, is a federal program that provides reimbursements for nutritious meals and snacks for eligible children and adults who are enrolled for care participating in child care centers, daycares, homes, and adult daycare centers. And the Department of Human Services requires board approval for Harrison Preschool to run this program, and administration recommends the board approve the CACFP program at Harrison Preschool for the 24-25 school year.
Before we have a motion, I would ask Mr. Dove, is there anything that you can give us some insight on?
This is just the program that the district had ran since I started, and they just, like he said, need board approval.
So is this for, the description there, who are we going to be servicing meals to? Is it families or
The
just
preschool
kids?
kids, just preschool kids.
It all falls under that umbrella.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And this is funded differently than our K through 12
Correct.
food service program. It's a completely different agency,
Yep.
correct?
Happy Meals or something?
Yes.
No, not the material served.
They don't even get
It's
chocolate.
the funding stream, yeah.
No strawberry milk either?
Nope. But,
Pretty tight,
little
federal
more.
level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, would entertain a motion for that as well. And motion by Ms. Both, is there a second? Ms. McLaughlin is offered a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, the same. Motion carries. At this time, we're going to recess. So we're going to have a student hearing, so we're not going to go into executive session.
I would like to communicate to the board that we did talk to the family for this next portion of our board meeting, and we're a little early. Executive session is fairly brief. Would you like to go ahead and do executive session and be done with that? And then do the student hearing after executive session? Would that be fine?
Yes.
Okay, so at this time, then, we will not recess, but
Administration recommends the board enter into executive session for the purposes of election, resignations, retirements, transfers, and supplemental salary.
I think that at some point in time, this is something I've never done as a school board. Said I wanted to do it, but I never have. And I don't want them, with security and things like it is. I would like to go up and eat some of Jonathan's nutritious food. I mean that all sincerely. My children have never ate in the cafeteria after 24 plus years. I always took their lunch, but I think it would be, I would like to see what, I don't want to wait until they bring their ideas. I want to wait and see some of the changes.
Yep.
And I'd like to go up there either as a group or as individuals and
cinnamon roll day.
just have lunch. And see
How
what,
much that gonna run us?
that will be on the list.
But it's on Mr. Burnside's offering to buy.
Yeah.